boxing truth here. It even appears that Triple G's trainer, Abel Sanchez, is having more and more doubts that Canelo will fight him this year, later in the fall. So, Golovkin's team and Tom Loeffler, if that's the case, they're going to have to look for other lucrative opportunities in the middleweight division. And, of course, they're setting up a plan to get a lucrative fight later in the year if Canelo doesn't want to step up to the plate and fight him. And, of course, Gennady either wants Billy Joe Saunders for unification, or if not him, maybe a interesting fight with Chris Eubank Jr. in the later part of the year. Golovkin will be willing to make his UK debut for a fight either against Sanders or Eubank Jr. to make it happen, and possibly at the new venue in the UK or at Uptown Park, whichever. I'll tell you, that's an interesting fight. It's a fight I definitely pay money to watch, because Eubank Jr., he's a good fighter. He's very aggressive, throws a lot of hard punches, good combinations. He really comes to fight. It'll be an action fight, him and Triple G. Most feel that Eubank doesn't have a chance, but that fight will be all action for as long as it lasts. I mean, the way Eubank comes to fight, throws a lot of heavy shots, combinations, he really commits to his punches. He's not the biggest puncher, but he's a good solid puncher. He just doesn't have that concussive power at the top level. He hasn't shown that power as he's raised his level of opposition. Now, the flaws that Eubank Jr. has, though, he stays in the pocket a little too long, sort of like Amir Khan. He'll throw combinations and just forgets to move his head, and he forgets to get out of his way, to sidestep or move his head after a combination. He just stays there. And when you do that, it's very easier for a fighter to counter if he has the skill to do it. And that's the Achilles heel of Eubank Jr. He can get caught with hooks, counter hooks, or punches in between, because he leaves himself wide open for counter shots after combinations he throws. It'd be a hell of a fight. I'm more interested in watching a Eubank Jr. Triple G fight than a potential Billy Joe Sanders fight, because of the style. Sanders is a boxer. He's quicker. He doesn't punch as hard, but he likes to pot shot you and get you in between punches. He just has a different type of style. He's harder to hit. Probably more difficult style to deal with. But Eubank Jr. style will be all action. It'll be an action fight. Will Triple G, Eubank will come in there and try to take Golovkin's head off. And I've yet to see that from a fighter that fights Triple G, that comes in there and just tries to straight lace him with big shots. And Eubank Jr. would definitely come bring the fight to Golovkin. Now, that fight, according to Tom Loeffler, will be the biggest money fight, not a non-title fight for Triple G. And the Eubanks, they're confident in that fight. Eubank Sr. has always stated in the past that he thinks his son would trash Golovkin, and Eubank Jr. has the same type of confidence. He wants to fight. He's willing to fight Golovkin. He said he's not afraid. If given opportunity, he'll come to win. And he feels he's the one that can give Golovkin a real test. I mean, I favor Golovkin because Eubank's defense is just too shaky at times, leaves himself wide open. But it's a fight I would like to see. It'll be a great action fight for however long it lasts. It could end in the first round. It could end at any time, because Eubank is very vulnerable. But that's what makes him fun to watch. Now, Eubank, he has a fight in March against Nick Blackwell for the British title. It's like a stay busy fight. He's currently a free agent. He's been through a lot of promoters in his career. He was with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn is still talking to him about a possible deal to continue to promote him for Matchroom. But he's only interested in Eubank's career if Eubank is willing to sign a long-term deal with Eddie Hearn. That's the only way he's interested. If not, then he'll part ways. But Eubank, after that March fight, he could possibly be in a big fight in the middle of the year, perhaps a rematch with Billy Joe Saunders. That could be what Frank Warren is talking about for a big summer fight with Billy Joe that he has set up. Could be a rematch with Eubank Jr. And that rematch is warranted. They definitely need to fight again. The first fight was very close, very competitive. A lot of people thought Eubank won. A lot of people thought Sanders won. It was just the type of fight that could have went either way. I thought Eubank maybe could have won the fight, but he did finish the fight stronger. But it was a close fight. They just need to have a rematch. And I'll be pulling for Eubank in the rematch because of his style. He's just a more fun fighter to watch. And him and Golovkin will be a better fight style-wise, and there will be a lot more action, and Eubank has a puncher's chance. Saunders is not really that much of a puncher. He's a slick guy, harder to hit, more difficult style to deal with, but I just don't think he has the firepower to keep Gennady off of him. But Eubank, he definitely has a puncher's chance. If no Canelo fight, that's the fight I would definitely like to see for Golovkin. It'll be a very interesting fight. He's willing to go to UK to make it happen. If the rematch happens between Eubank and Sanders, I'm pulling for Eubank to win the rematch. So perhaps it will be a unification fight later in the year if Canelo is not willing to fight Golovkin later in the year. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Do you guys like that fight? Who would you be pulling for? Do you think Eubank has a chance to upset Golovkin? Boxing Truth, I'm out.